PM Pacific.
Sir.
YouTube TGN Latinx.
Hey, yo.
Son. Investment bars. Here we go. Yo. Investment bars. Let's start with the golden rule. Play with money that you can't lose. You acting like a fool. Don't gotta
Give
be
'em some
debt free,
bars.
but
Give
you
'em some
gotta have the
bars.
bills paid, some money on the side, just in case one of the deals.
What's going on, mi gente?
What's good,
That's
everybody?
That's not the energy.
I know,
that's not
right?
the energy I expected
He's
from
hit me
you
with, like,
today.
He's
a
been
whole bunch
bouncing
of
off the walls
I
for
know.
the last hour.
now he's calm.
Bueno, mi gente,
Hey.
how are we doing?
There you
Listen,
go.
I'm excited. I'm happy. We're reunited. We're all
Vamos.
together in the same place.
Salud.
Salud to
Yo, did they save you a parking spot, though?
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't save me a
Why
parking
would
spot
you?
either.
I'm blocking somebody.
Yeah, I don't know if my
somebody
car will be
knocks on
there.
the door and I gotta move
Y'all
my
gotta
car.
show up on time.
That's
one
why I
time.
walked.
But we're
reunited.
reunited, though.
That's what
We're
matters. That's what
reunited.
matters. We're all in here
Absolutely.
together. It's good to have everybody back.
Absolutely.
And let's get this thing rolling, man.
Let's get it.
Go.
So we were going to talk about, great financial advice, but then I forgot we're not financial advisors. So
That's right.
let's get this conversation going with what are some songs that you're not too gangster to love?
Me first?
Well, yeah.
Finally, he's gonna go first.
There
you go.
Man, I got a lot of them. One song that when I kind of suggested this question. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that out there. I was listening to this like playlist of some bunch of songs that I would not want to bump out loud necessarily, and then I was like, man, who cares? But a couple songs that come to mind. You remember that Eve and Alicia Keys song?
Yeah.
It's that gangsta love.
But that's still-
that
that's still-
just got yeah. But
that's
come
still
on,
gangsta, though.
come on. Oh yeah, like I heard you bumping it all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's one that comes to mind.
But
I
at
got
least
one more.
that's the word gangster in it.
Well, I got another one. You know which one else too? Last night
Oh,
I couldn't even get an answer.
I love that song right
That's
there.
a great
Diddy's on- That's a
song.
love
There you
song.
go. There you go.
Yeah, that one's a good one. I'm gonna say mine. I'm gonna go beyond the realm of English music, and I'm gonna hit them with Juan Gabriel Querida.
Ooh,
Wow.
Remember that one?
Wow.
That's gangster though.
That is a
okay.
dope song,
it's
yeah.
gangster, but
Hey,
you know.
I sang the two. So
yeah, where he was like Querida. Yeah, that one.
hey, do you even know that he's a singer?
I did not know. I
No,
know
no,
has
he
some bars,
he's a
but now
singer
he
for a
sings.
conjunto,
This
bro.
one.
He is.
No, real
back in my
talk.
days.
What was the name
He
of
did.
it?
Oh,
we,
for real?
we were called Los Aparecidos because one day nomás aparecimos. That was good times. Yeah.
Yo, for me, man, anything by Ashanti.
Okay.
Like I was in love with Ashanti in high school. So everything she put out to me was like amazing.
Word.
Okay, so-
yeah, sorry.
So there
You're
you
not
go. Hit
getting-
us-
you're
hit
not
us with a
getting
little
no- Yeah, my voice don't go that high.
He's gonna be like,
Back to you, bro.
just hit him with, oh baby.
Hey, I grew up
I can
before.
do the dance though, right? That's okay.
Hey, I grew up with four sisters, so I had to listen to all the girly stuff, and I learned how to sing to all of it. You know what I mean? Definitely don't have Rex's voice though, but I guess one that I'll shout out is Since You've Been Gone, Kelly Clarkson. You know what I mean?
Wow. Okay. That one. You definitely, you can't be too gangster like that.
And then
so.
right now, my daughter just got me playing Barbie Girl by Aqua every time we get in the car. So, I get to dance and go,
All right.
and I got my lyrics down,
So then, just a question for the dads in the group: Disney musicals, Disney soundtracks,
yes.
gangster or not too gangster?
Oh,
So
Yo,
gangster.
Encanto,
Okay, Encanto, that's what I'm saying.
goes hard,
Welcome
bro.
to the family. Madrigal.
Bro, I choose Madrigal. My daughter's like, no, come on, baby, one time, Madrigal.
Oh.
We don't
Okay,
talk about Bruno.
Yeah, okay.
All day,
I'm just
all
making
day in the
sure,
house.
'cause,
And
yeah.
then Frozen, come on.
Go ahead.
Oh, let it go. Let it go.
Yo, shout out to Matt. Was good, my boy.
Oh,
Hey, we got
Wifey's there,
some
Wifey's
player.
there. She knows about my singing prowess.
There she
That's
is.
how I
There
I
she is.
stole her heart.
There
you
you
know,
go.
Is that how it was? That's
Yeah.
how it was.
No, this guy's multifaceted.
That was not.
I sang a little bit to her.
That was
and
not
it
how he
game
stole
over.
mine. That was not how he stole mine.
Nah,
We'll talk
it-
about that on
It wasn't
another
because of
episode.
shrinkage.
All it took was a.
Hey, how are those drinks, by the way?
Oh, they're good, man.
That's
I'm
good.
hating on y'all
What's
right
that green
now.
stuff you got over there, Rennie?
You know,
Let them know.
It's day one of a juice cleanse.
Hey,
Going
shout out
through
to
another
our
juice
son.
cleanse. Day one is rough. But you know what? It's towards the end of the day. Feeling a little bit better. Earlier in the day, it was a little rough, but making it happen.
Well, props to you for getting that juice cleanse going. I know Douglas said he wants to do that
That's
sometime
right.
soon as
Yeah.
well.
I don't think it'll make me look as sexy as Rennie, but I'm gonna try.
Man,
No
yeah,
doubt, no
definitely
doubt.
That would be
not.
because of the best barber in LA. Shout
Oh,
out to
here we
him.
go.
Oh, here we go.
Here we
Let's not
go.
Oh,
go
we
back
have a
there.
new commenter, Myra Altamira. Hi.
Oh, wow.
Look
Baby
at that.
girl.
We got so many people on
There
the
you
check-in.
go.
Ah,
Pero bueno, mi gente, we are back. Like, we're back for real, for real. Like,
For
we're
real,
all
for
back, reunited, and man, it feels good. Like we
Yeah.
said at the start of the show. But the boys are in the building. I personally needed this, and we got a great show for you tonight. Rennie's got the word on the street with some great info on market timing. I'm really excited to hear a little bit more about this article you got coming.
Yeah.
I know you got some earnings news.
that's right.
Some pandemic darlings. I wonder if they're still very darlingish.
Mhm.
I know Credit Chris is coming with some more fire.
sir.
Medical related, right?
Yeah, medical collection.
That's what's up.
All right.
That's
All
awesome.
right. And I know my man Rix,
Yes,
not
sir.
only is he going to do this disclaimer in the fastest time ever, but I think you got a pretty big announcement you're making today, right?
I do.
My
I do.
man.
Save it for later though. Save it for
Yeah,
later.
we're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
say
right
we're
now.
gonna
We
say
gotta
it for
hold
later,
that
so
one.
make sure you guys stay tuned in.
We're gonna have the stopwatch ready though for this disclaimer.
Yes,
Is he
Yeah.
setting a record today?
He might.
I don't know.
I think he's practicing
You
for
ready?
this.
You know what? I am
announcement.
pretty hype. I am pretty hype about that meeting that we had. So let's go ahead and set our
Let's say ready, set,
disclaimer.
go.
Here we go. Here we go.
Here we go.
So before we do what we do, let's let Rix do what he do with that
Yep.
disclaimer.
That is that our content is intended to be used and must be used for educational and informational purposes only. It is very important to do your own research, aka do your homework before making any investment decisions. They should be based on your own personal circumstances. Investing has inherent risk, and past performance does not guarantee future results. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independent research and verify any information that you wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise.
What was it?
21.02
Ah,
And that's
seconds.
only because of the Henny slip, so I
Wow.
apologize for that.
Don't worry, we'll see. We'll make sure he could beat it next week.
Let's
Yeah,
get
there
it,
you go.
bro.
We'll
Let's
keep
jump
it
right
going.
into it,
Shout out to my
folks.
little bro Vic.
Oh, Mega Cat
Oh,
Big.
Mega Cat,
Mega
big head.
Cat Big. Mega
Maceta.
Cat Big. Yo, what's the 411?
What is it, my boy?
All right. You know what? I'm gonna jump around a little bit here. So first off, you hopefully should know this, but dividend stocks have trounced the market this year. The stock market, shocked by the Federal Reserve's policy changes to fight inflation, has been gored this year, with growth and technology companies bearing the brunt of the biggest declines. Dividend and stocks in contract have actually risen. The performance for the high dividend group, a total return of 3.5% this year through May 24th, has been nothing short of breathtaking when you consider that the S&P 500 has dropped 17.1%.
Shout out to them
Ouch.
dividend stocks, man.
Yeah, you know what? And shout out to Chris Johnson, because I saw what he was putting out there regarding QYLD and QQQX.
Mhm.
I think that's a genius play to take advantage of the pullback in tech and pick up some dividends while the market recovers.
Mhm.
I think that's a good play. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's,
Absolutely. I mean,
Drip,
dividends
drip,
drip, drip,
he's
right?
not one of the goats for no reason, right?
You know, if they tune into the Brown Wealth Matters course, they'll learn all about the drip and
That's
how
right.
dividends help you reinvest again and again and again.
Yeah, and those that aren't into the dividend stocks argue, well, there isn't much growth in them. That's why we don't want to get into the dividend stocks. But the joke's on those people right now because the growth stocks they were in, they're not growing. They're going the opposite way.
They're not growing so much.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of growth, let's go ahead and go to the next one. Anderson Horowitz raises $4.5 billion crypto fund to take advantage of bargains in the down market. So they plan to plow billions of dollars into crypto startups while digital asset markets are in a rut. The Silicon Valley firm announced a new $4.5 billion fund for backing crypto and blockchain companies on Wednesday. It marks their fourth fund for the asset class and brings its total raise for crypto and blockchain investments to $7.6 billion. The firm plans to invest in both the cryptocurrencies behind projects and in company equity. Anderson's first crypto-focused fund was launched 4 years ago during a downturn now known as the crypto winter. Bear markets are often when the best opportunities come about, when people actually are able to focus on building technology rather than getting distracted by short-term price activity. Ariana Simpson, a general partner at Anderson Horowitz, told CNBC in a phone interview. I haven't heard much bullish news about crypto as of late, so that was kind of interesting to hear. I mean, $4.5 billion, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they did this before successfully already during the last crypto winter. What do you guys think?
Well, there's obviously
Ooh.
going to be
Ooh.
volatility within
Uh-huh.
the crypto market,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
And,
yeah.
you know, as much as we in the beginning we felt crypto was trading differently than the market, we're kind of seeing that correlation between the two, right?
I mean, it's basically traded like a NASDAQ growth stock.
The
Yep.
statement that caught my attention, I don't know if you guys can help me kind of understand a little bit better, but where he's saying that bear markets are the greatest opportunity because people can focus on building technology rather than getting distracted on short-term price activity. For those of you that are at home, and even for me, like, what is he necessarily trying to explain or what is he trying to portray right there?
It's talking about the use of crypto. Like the technological aspects of how we could bring
So
it.
there's a lot there. So I mean, once you get into learning about the blockchain and you understand, I know NFTs are almost like a really bad word to use right now because that bubble pop. But in the future, NFTs use they basically call it utility. Like it will have so much more usage that's associated with it in the form of contracts, in the form of all kinds of different things. So that's really what it's about. It's not like crypto is just this like invisible money that's there that is going to just go up and down based off of how sentiment is. Like there is actual utility for it. But let me just add this piece here and then we'll move on to the next one. Simpson and partner Chris Dixon liken the long-term opportunity in crypto to the next major computing cycle after PCs in the 90s, PCs in the 80s, the internet in the 90s, and mobile computing in the early 2000s. Anderson Horowitz is known for early bets on Lyft, Pinterest, and Slack, and made its first major crypto investment with Coinbase in 2013. So I think you can interpret that however you want, but those last couple of things, like they have made a lot of money and they think there's a lot more money to be made.
So in essence, he's kind of been ahead of what's going on. Just he's got that foresight.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
So moving on, why 2022 has been a dangerous time to retire.
Damn it, I was just about to.
It's a scary time for new retirees. Stocks have plunged this year. Bonds, which traditionally serve as a ballast when stocks falter, have also been pummeled. Both trends are worrisome for seniors who rely on investments for their retirement income. High inflation also means retirees need to draw more income to afford the same items and make ends meet. That's a pretty bad combination that's relatively rare. David Blanchett, head of retirement research at PGIM, the investment management arm of Prudential Financial, said of his three-pronged challenge. Consider this example from Charles Schwab of two new retirees with $1 million portfolios and $50,000 annual withdrawals adjusted for inflation. The only difference is when each experiences a 15% portfolio loss. So listen to this. One has a 15% decline in the first 2 years of retirement and a 6% gain each year after. The other has a 6% annual gain for the first 9 years, a negative 15% return in years 10 and 11, and a 6% annual gain thereafter. The first investor would run out of money after 18 years, while the other would have $400,000 left. Wow. So we're younger, and obviously that must be very scary to go through if you're retiring and you're seeing a pullback like this. Mm-hmm. But I think this also speaks to the importance of time in the market and compound interest.
Exactly.
Because the longer that you've been in the market, it's still going to hurt because obviously, you're pulling back and it's money that's disappearing. But if you've been invested, the longer you've been invested, the less you have to worry about that.
Yeah. I guess essentially you are going to be losing a little bit of your nest egg if there is a pullback, but you have a larger nest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly
it makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So it could be a scary time, but that's why it's so important that the younger you are, the faster you can get started, like the more that time will be on your side. You know what? I think we're coming up on time. So should we go ahead and move into El Mercado?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it.
Let's go ahead.
All right.
I need dollar, that's what I need.
So because I'm not retiring anytime soon, I do have to pay attention to El Mercado. But hey, we had a pretty good day today. So go ahead and hit me with that. Yes, sir.
This is why we wanted Dogra to dance to this, right?
The indices, plural of index, they went up. They went up. Today, the S&P 500 went up 37 points to 3,978 with 73 cents. The NASDAQ went up 170 and 0.29 points to 11,434.74. And the Dow Jones went up 191.66 points to 32,120 and 28 cents. So it's definitely not where it's been at the beginning of the year, but just having green days is always good, especially when we're having Brown Wolf Radio and we want to make sure we celebrate these because a little bit of maíz is better than no maíz, right?
That's right. And I think it's just to touch on a little bit around the market conditions because there's so much doom and gloom, out there.
Yeah.
And real talk, it's not like we're saying like the market's going to turn around and go up because it probably isn't. But I think it's an important time to think about what the behaviors are behind investments, right? Like there's ways that you can hedge some of this bleeding. And we've talked about some of those, right? Like whether it's, taking more trades here and there, maybe, using like an inverse ETF, like we talked about SQQ like a long time ago. But, as far as like the behavior behind investments, like if you can't continue to invest during these market downturns, you can't time it. So when it finally does turn, like you're going to be behind from that perspective. And I think that's the important part to kind of like talk about a little bit because everyone is like scared and they just think that they need to like let it all go, but you can't time it.
I think these are the type of times where people go, "That's why I don't invest." And
of course, all the naysayers
Yeah.
come out right
Yeah.
now, and their posts are saying, "Oh, where's all the investment gurus?"
Yeah,
now?"
right.
Yeah,
Shout out Mo the brokers.
Still buying shares, bro. That's where we're
buying
at.
shares.
exactly.
Yeah, because again, we always preach long-term investing. Don't panic. You only lose when you sell. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
I don't think you should be selling right now.
Yep.
No, not at all. Especially if you're in the red. I mean, granted, if you got a garbage company, you got a garbage company. It's
Yeah.
gonna take a whole lot longer to recover. But
Yeah.
you got to do your research.
I think the
Yeah, you
biggest point,
chose to invest in that garbage company.
you got to keep skin in the game. You got to keep skin in the game, right? Like, if you want to take, we all have different approaches to it, right? And, me being probably the most active one, I'll definitely play with portions of my portfolio, but there's certain parts I don't even look at. Would it hurt to look at them? Probably. But I'm not really worried about that because time is on my side. So that's just something that you got to think about.
That's awesome. And again, if you're just tuning in, you are listening to Brown Wealth Radio here on TGN Latinx and the Good News Radio Network. Shout outs to everybody on the comments. My boy Victor Vasquez always coming through. Make a cap Vic. Our boy Victor Villalobos side effects may
Evil
include
Vic, Evil
profits,
Vic.
losses,
We have-
diarrhea,
we
nausea.
actually have both Vics
Mega
on.
Cat
Yeah,
Vic
it's always
and
good to
Evil Vic.
have. And our boy Scratch making his first
Ah.
appearance, I
Oh,
believe. And he
Jay
says, "How can I make them
Scratch.
dogger bills though?"
Oh,
Here we go.
man.
Did you see how he dances
you gotta
to
wait till that.
Mas?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that falls right into.
Dinero me llueve, me deja diablo que aguacero, en la cuenta un par de cero, y empezamos desde cero.
Before I go into earnings, this juice is pretty good. Since my wife is watching today, I just want to say, please be patient with me. I love you so much, even more after I'm done with this juice fast like I was last time. And please excuse all my asshole behavior as my body adapts.
he will not be going to Monty's to eat a burger after this.
No,
It
I
must have been all that
promise.
vegan food we had at that festival on Sunday, my boy.
Ooh, man. Yeah. I really should have ate a little bit more clean going into it. But
Yeah.
we'll be all right. We'll make it. So let's talk about earnings. And we're going to talk about a couple companies that, really took off the last couple of years and they've since kind of come back down. So first off, Zoom. So Zoom is a company that I think we all probably still use on a daily basis. Some of us have come to liken it as like a symbol for the pandemic, but the truth is it's probably not going anywhere. But a couple notes about it. So obviously it's that pandemic darling stock. It traded as high as $588 in late 2020.
580.
It exploded. I remember it
Now,
exploded, man.
Prior to the pandemic, its all-time high was 107. And guess where it's at right about now? I think it's
Más o
around
menos.
103, 104, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
It actually traded as low as $79 just a few weeks ago. It looks like it closed at 102 today.
102.
But it went as high as 110 after they announced earnings on Monday. So why was there a positive reaction? Well, this is probably not why there was a positive reaction, but just to share, as of today, it is now the biggest holding in the ARK portfolio. So once upon a time, it was Tesla. Now it's
Man.
Zoom. I don't know if you're going to be bullish and bearish on that, but Zoom reported earnings per share of $1.03 per share. They beat the estimate of 87 cents. They reported sales of 1.07 billion, which matched analyst estimates, but was actually a 12.32% increase over sales this time last year. Now, with that said, it's the slowest growth rate it's had since going public, but they also increased their full year profit forecast. And they're basically betting that large businesses will continue to operate in a hybrid work environment. And they actually also adjusted their forward guidance. Their EPS is going to be $3.70 to $3.77, and they were previously expecting $3.45 to $3.51. Now, one thing that I was actually kind of surprised by, as I think about it, I think it makes some sense, but their revenue now is the highest than it's ever been.
Right.
So even when you compare it to like the middle of the pandemic. So Zoom, I mean, I think there's a lot of negative headwinds against it. I think this is probably a pop type of thing. Like, I'm not in Zoom. If I was, I would probably sell it, to be honest with you. But I do think that there are some interesting things to look at. And I think once it shakes some of those headwinds, like, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think it'll ever go back to 588. We don't know. But it probably, we'll pick up some of that, some of that money that it lost. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think it's an example of an overreaction to both sides. I mean, overreaction to go to 588, like I have no idea how it was worth that at one point. And the overreaction for it to go down so much being that we still use Zoom all the time. Yes, the pandemic's not going on like it was, but I'm still using Zoom at work personally. We talk on Zoom.
I just think it's better than Teams or Google Hangouts.
Oh, it is better. It is the
use-
best.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's better than Google Meets though.
Nah.
Like, so I use Google Meet at work, and I love it hands down better than Zoom. Like,
I'm
interface
on the Google Meets team as well.
the interface is better. It's not as glitchy.
It's easy.
Wait. So are you telling me that Google is doing something well?
Yeah. Oh, I think
Yeah.
Google does a lot of things well.
what's the Apple
phones
version
is
of it?
not one of those things.
What's the Apple version? Of it?
FaceTime. We kind of started that.
Oh, okay. FaceTime.
yeah.
I haven't used that. I haven't used that for a single work
The
meeting.
first
but-
$3 trillion company, Randy. Come on, man. Not right now.
Yeah.
Not right now.
Yeah. No.
Hey,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Zoom has its like. There's enough room for everybody to play in this space. But I think you're right when it comes to like that hybrid work environment. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and especially on this technologically advanced computer, Google Meets is by far
That brick,
much better.
that brick over there.
This
bro, what
This
kind of
thing- it's like
camera?
from
What
the
kind of
future.
camera does that have?
man,
Does
look,
it
just,
have a camera?
Just,
It
just
had a
for
He
just
added the webcam on
You guys
top.
look. You
Full
guys look like y'all
disclosure,
look like
we like-
crypto punks on that.
Yeah,
it was all
like,
like pixels.
full
you know?
disclosure. Full disclosure. We had a meeting a little bit earlier here, and we were using my camera, and then Rennie just decided literally to like shut my computer. He just like shut it off and then put on his because apparently my camera wasn't up to
We look
snuff.
like we were in
but bro, at least
1985.
you were in the frame.
Right?
Like,
Camera,
I was
your
completely
sound.
cut out of that.
Yeah.
frame.
Dude, there was smoke coming out of your camera.
You couldn't even hear the other person on the other side talking.
It's like a classic car. They just never go out of style, man.
Oh,
I'm just letting
Then
you know.
that's a 1980 Corolla, man.
So I wonder what kind of chip is in your computer.
There isn't one.
They said something about it being chocolate. I don't know.
Well, I think that ties into the
Speaking
next
of chip,
company
there
we're
you go.
covering.
Let's move on.
We're
So let's
just
talk about
matter.
Nice segue.
nice
company
nice.
where chips matter.
Stack them chips. Nvidia. They actually reported today, and this one was kind of an important one. And I don't know what to make of it. I feel like it might be a pump fake, but anyway, this was another company that soared to all-time highs. It didn't really happen in the middle of the pandemic. It actually happened in late 2020, where Nvidia got all the way up to $346.47. Its pre-pandemic high was only about 73. Now, with that said, it ended the day at 169.75, I believe, and it traded as low as 152 in the after hours. So at one point, it was down 10%. So why was there that response? Well, first off, their earnings per share did not meet expectations. It came in at $1.16. Analysts were expecting $1.29. Now, their sales did beat the estimate. They came in at 8.29 billion, beating the estimate of 8.12. This is crazy. That's a 46.44% increase over sales this time last year. And there's supposedly supply chain constraints, right?
Yeah.
They did say that due to some of these supply chain disruptions in China and reduced business in Russia, they're leaving sales on the table, and they thought it was roughly around 500 million. So maybe that could explain the EPS. They shared that they're seeing more sales now, though, from artificial intelligence, AI applications, and actual graphics processors. Shout out to Matt, because I know he's been having some trouble with those graphics processors. But they're actually the second most valuable semiconductor company in the world, behind TSM, which is in Taiwan. And at their all-time high, they were bigger than TSM. They actually almost had a market cap of 1 trillion. I think at one point they got to like just shy of like 900 million. And the thing with Nvidia is that like it's obviously going to impact that entire sector. And we've, obviously talked about on our page about semiconductors. They really are like essentially today's gas. Like a lot of different technology does not operate without semiconductors. So what do you guys think? Is this pullback an entry? Do we think it's going to meet those all-time highs again? What are we thinking?
I think it's still, if you're not looking at Nvidia as an opportunity to get in now, then like you're not analyzing the market correctly. Like when you think of what's in the future, it's all about automation. It's all about
Artificial
computers.
intelligence.
You need these chips. Who are the biggest players there? Like
TSM and NVIDIA.
Intel was
now,
in the 90s, right? Like nobody talks about them anymore, but you got NVIDIA, you got AMD, you got TSM.
That's right.
They're all on sale. Now, again, that's not financial advice. And I'm not telling you go and buy these.
Do I have to go
companies.
back and do the disclaimer, man?
You might, but
I'm still gonna spread that. I'm gonna spread that pie with. I just like my SMH. I like my SMH.
That plays it safe.
and that's where you go into that
ETF.
ETF mode, right? So, but aside from that, like just look at like Nvidia has certain things, certain parts of the market like on lock. AMD has another part of the market that's on lock. So they all have their own little niche. All the way I look at it is like, to your point, it was what you said, 46% growth year over year. That's not anything to sneeze at. I think sometimes these analysts get greedy with what they want these companies to deliver, and then it impacts the stock price. So take advantage, do your research, see where you think Nvidia is going to go, and why wouldn't you jump on that opportunity?
So when you're looking at these financials, Jesse, you're seeing this as a product of the pullback, not so much a product of their business model.
Correct. And I also think a lot of like that what'd you say? What was there? 346 was one around their high.
Yeah.
Like that's because a lot of that business got pulled forward, right? So all of these newer investors just started jumping on the hype.
Yeah.
So a lot of that helps that price move up that quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Now things are just kind of leveling out to where they should be.
Yeah, both of these companies you can consider bandwagon investments where people heard the name, everyone started talking about them, and everybody jumped in.
Now, one interesting thing is it went down to 10% in the aftermarket, and then it kind of made up some ground.
Leveled out a little
There's
bit.
been some interesting companies this week that have done that. So I honestly would not be surprised if they rallied the next couple of days. But I like NVIDIA, like probably a little closer to 150, 140 personally. But I agree. I think NVIDIA, I mean, obviously I already shared what I think about Zoom. I don't own it. I wouldn't right now. But NVIDIA is definitely tempting for sure.
And I mean,
look at, even, shout out to Matt in the chat, Apple getting into the chip game too. I think that is,
I was going to say that impact.
That is one of the headwinds that all these chip makers are facing is because Apple, I think they're one of TSM's biggest clients. When they start making their own chips even more,
it might affect TSM.
Shout out Mega Cap
Vic. You gonna give us some insider info?
Go ahead and put it on the chat. We won't share it with anybody, I promise.
Yo, but before we get into this commercial break, anything you want to talk about?
I think it's after.
I know, but do you want to give us a sneak peek and lead us out?
For those of you that are on our YouTube live stream, make sure that you stay with us over the next 3 minutes because I don't even want to ruin it, man. We have a big announcement. The brown skin investors of Brown Wealth Radio are about to do some major moves. I'm really excited to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it when we come back from the commercials.
When we come back from
so make sure you
about
stay.
The biggest partnership we're gonna have in our history.
Well, you know what? It may not be because we're gonna keep making more partnerships and we're gonna keep growing. So make sure you stay tuned in with us on Brown Wealth Radio here on the Good News Radio Network app. Well, you know.
Sure. What is that?
You know what it is. I only rock the Flyers gear, and the Flyers gear can be found with TGN Radio.
Where did you get it?
TGNradio.net. Go onto the page, click TGN Shop Store, and you can get everything you need.
I'm getting mine right now. And make sure y'all do the same. Go get your TGN merch. Enjoy your show.
Yo, what's up? This is Rix.
Yo, this is Rennie.
What up? Dover in the building.
What's good, family? This is Jesse, and this is
Brown Wealth Radio. And make sure to catch us on TGN Latinx every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific, to be specific.
It's back, Jax. Have you heard? It's back.
Michael, what are you talking about? What's back?
The Podcast Pit. It is returning Monday, May 23rd. Brand new venue.
Oh my God, the Podcast Pit is back. Exciting. Where's it at?
It's going to be at Jox's Daily at 7:30 p.m.
I know where that's at. That's at 11168 Washington Boulevard in Culver City.
So, Jax, will I see you there?
Oh, you know it, baby.
Hey, Jackie, what's wrong?
I'm over here running around trying to tell everybody about the Podcast Pit.
What's the Podcast Pit?
I'm glad you asked. The Podcast Pit is an event where you will find some of your favorite podcasts performing in front of a live audience.
Will there be food and drinks there?
Of course there will be. It's at Joxer Dailies in Culver City. They have a full bar and a full menu.
Hey, I may need to tell people about this as well.
Yes, come with me. Let's tell them. The Podcast Pit's coming. The Podcast Pit is coming.
Hooty-hoo. Are you looking for a DJ for your next private party, wedding, club, corporate event, tour, or even bar mitzvah? DJ Dash is the guy that can get it done. With 10 years plus experience in both audio and video DJing, I can cater to literally any crowd for any occasion. Call or text me now at area code 323-854-2013. Once again, that's 32.
All right. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
There you go. I thought we didn't have no singers in the group.
Welcome
Bad does bad.
Yep.
I think that might have been the most interesting break we've had.
That was great. Let me know. But we are Brown Wealth Radio here on TGN Latinx and the Good News Radio Network. It's your boy Rix along with my boy Dogra, Jesse, and Rennie. The boys of summer are back. And before the break, we covered El Mercado. We talked a little bit about Zoom and NVIDIA earnings and also just stuff about the market. And as always, make sure you follow us on our social media at the Brown Skin Investors. We got that fire. We got them reels. We got them posts. So make sure. And also make sure you use the link in our bio to purchase our Brown Wealth Matters Stock Market Course webinar series. We have information that I think will be very useful, especially in this time in the market, that people can learn, especially if you're newer to the investing market. And we have Brown Wealth Matters merch and more. Now, I got some info I gotta let you guys know. Well, actually, I don't have to let you guys know because you guys were already there.
We're gonna hold that for the.
Didn't we just the Ricks?
Yeah,
the Ricks. We just talked
I
about.
thought we were giving them a little teaser.
Oh,
But
all right.
No. Yeah, there you go.
Get that money.
I digress.
Y'all. How's it going, everybody? I apologize for not having those credit gems last week, but we got some really interesting ones this week for you guys. So
let's get it.
One thing I want to talk about is medical debt and how that impacts your credit score. So,
Okay,
you know,
all right.
people have, unfortunately, emergency things happen from a medical perspective, surgeries, you know, breaking your leg, things like that, your appendix taken out. And some people have insurance, some people don't, but the insurance doesn't always cover it. Right? There tends to be a copay. You'll get a letter. You'll get a phone call that you owe money. Right? Sometimes people forget to pay. Sometimes people don't have that emergency fund.
That's a fact
that we've talked about in the past to take care of things like that. So after some time, you don't pay it. What happens? Colecciones. So that medical debt then is sold to a collections agency, and that negatively impacts your credit score, just like any other debt that goes to a collections agency. Now, something major has happened. There's some great news that came out this July. There'll be a change to that rule. So in July, what's going to happen is any medical debt that you have, if you pay it off, they have to remove it off your credit report. Prior to July, let's say you let $50 of medical debt go into collections. You realize this when you somehow look at your credit report, someone finally tells you about it. You call, you pay that $50 off, you make it right. Well, guess what? They wouldn't take it off your credit report. It would still negatively impact your credit report for the future term of your credit, of your life. Now,
there's no like, isn't it like, what is it, 7 years before some of this stuff can get off your credit?
Medical goes even beyond that, supposedly.
Interesting.
Wow.
And so that really hurts people's opportunity to build their wealth, to qualify for loans, houses, things of that nature, right? Something as low as $50, $200, and you've paid it. You just paid it late. When you realized it, you cannot get that off. Now, there are times where you can write a letter, call them, try to get them to work with you, and they will, but there's no obligation for them to do that. Well, starting in July, if you pay it off, they have to take it off.
Okay. Do they have like a time limit?
I mean, it is the credit bureaus. So, you know, they never do anything that will to our benefit the way we want it. But by law, they are supposed to take it off.
Sorry if I missed this. Does this apply retroactively though?
Yes.
So if it happened in the past.
Yes. Wow. So if you owe $500 right now and you pay that off, right? Today, it'll still be on your credit report. After July, they are obligated to take it off. Now, don't expect it to happen July 1st. You know, there's tons of people that have this issue. I'm sure it's going to take these credit bureaus time. If you are in this situation, I would contact the credit bureau and harp on them and let them know. But the move will wipe away an estimated 70% of negative medical debt remarks, giving many a hopeful jump in their credit score.
That's what's up, man. Like, just having 2 kids recently, these medical bills be out of control.
Yeah.
Right. And so I get that. And especially with our communities, right? When you think about the type of jobs
communities of color don't have insurance,
right? So this is all coming out of pocket, hence this vicious cycle, right?
Or
Don't
whatever
have a job, don't have
insurance.
insurance, don't have the money to pay the copay, to do this, to do that,
Or whatever
messes up my
insurance
credit.
they do offer
don't
you
go to
at
the
work, it's not
doctor,
that
so you
good.
get more sick and you die
Exactly.
faster.
Yeah, you know, because if I don't go to the doctor, my sickness isn't real. It's not gonna hurt
Hey,
me.
man.
We're not gonna identify it. You know,
7-Up and Vaporub cured me a lot of my ails, but no, you're right.
And there's something else added to this. So not only that, but starting January 2023, if you do owe medical debt and it goes to collections, if it's under $500, it will not be reported on your credit report, because that has impacted the communities of color so much that them owing less than $500 disallowed them from qualifying for their home loan, disallowed them from qualifying from their auto loan. It literally hurt your credit score anywhere from 50 to 150 points. That's just absurd. And another addition to that is the medical companies that you owe the money to, they had to wait 6 months before they sold it to a collector. They have now extended that to a full year. So if you owe money, they cannot sell it to a debt collector until a year from when you owe it. So
you have a year after your due date.
Yes, they cannot owe it. And then something that people don't know. Let's say, you have a baby and you owe $3,000. Can't afford to pay.
I wish it was that little.
Just throw the number out there. You owe $3,000 and you can't pay it. The beautiful thing about the medical debt, as long as you pay something, they cannot sell it to collections. You're not late.
Okay.
If you pay $25 a month of that, you're good. For the next, I don't know how long, $25 a month going to get you to $3,000. Whatever that is.
Yeah, that's a long time. That's a long time.
They will not they're not allowed to sell it to a debt collector because you're in good standing.
Got it.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so sometimes people look at that big payment or that big amount they owe and they're like, I can't afford it. They don't realize that if they just paid something that small each month, they will stay in good standing and it won't negative impact their credit score. Now, I think that's major, especially for the community of color, because I think communities of color has been victims of this more than anybody.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's a reason that, it was like that. So it's glad to see these changes. But again, please don't wait and just assume Experian, Equifax, TransUnion is going to do this for you. Call them, contact them, let them know you're aware of this new change. When is it going to happen? How quick is it going to happen? If they give you a date or they say in some time, hasn't happened, follow up. Because again, it is a new law that they obligated to do that for you.
I think it's it's crazy because obviously I think it seems like they're acknowledging that things have been done unfairly to communities of color. And, you want to focus on the solution and you want to be positively oriented. But just for a second to reflect on it, like what you said, like resonated with me because you said, debt as little as $500 has kept people from being able to become homeowners, right? And let's just hypothetically say, what if somebody was trying to become a homeowner in the last year or two when them rates were at 3% and they weren't able to do that? And now they get some relief because they can pull this off of their credit file. But guess what? Now you got to apply for a 6% mortgage. Like it's like infuriating, man. Yeah. It's like, it's good that it's a good step in that direction, but you got to just pause and think like, why are the odds always stacked against you?
Why did it take this long? Why couldn't they done it sooner?
Yeah, and it's not even if I knew then what I know now. It's like, damn, what could have been.
Right.
It has nothing to do with that. It's just there was no opportunity then, and all of a sudden now that the mountain is bigger. Oh, here.
And then it just goes to point out even a bigger problem with our country. What are we, the biggest economic powerhouse in the world, and yet healthcare? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
My gosh, how long can we talk about that?
We can get into all of those things as far as inequity.
That's real. You know what I mean? And like, no one ever talks about this. I didn't know about this till I learned about it. You know what I mean? And I've been learning about credit for a while, and it's crazy to think that something that could impact our community so much, we don't even know it's impacting us that way. Yeah. Because I guarantee you, if communities of color were aware of how that credit or that debt could impact them, and knowing that a small payment would keep them in good standing, they would do that.
Yeah.
It's just
Absolutely.
terrible.
To your point, that $25 or a 500 credit score an easier decision to make?
Much, yeah,
It's a
much easier.
no-brainer.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah, absolutely.
no-brainer.
Well, shout out to Scratch. I like, of course.
Yeah, he's
Scratch,
on it.
Scratch.
He's always
What's
on it with,
Scratch?
with the
Credit
puns.
Chris did his homework and the extra credit.
Hey. As always, Drago Beast, thank you for joining us, man. He said the
Yes,
mentality
sir.
towards credit is different for people of color, and you got to learn how to play the game, and that's exactly what we're trying to do here. And Credit
'Cause-
Chris always coming through, so much so that now he's giving himself the moniker of
That's
Credit
right,
Chris.
Credit-
So I
but-
love that.
Hey.
I love that he said that because the game ain't fair.
It's never been.
But you don't have a chance unless you play it.
That's
Exactly.
real.
We got to play it our
It
own
ain't like
way.
UGK. The game don't belong to me, right?
That's right.
Just because we're behind in the race don't mean we could catch up and take the lead.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Well,
But let's keep this moving, Jesse,
yeah, if this would be working right now and I could hit the queue, like I would.
because I'm excited.
But
I've been waiting for this.
No sé qué pasó.
I will say, if anyone in the chat's got any questions for us, we could answer them.
Yeah,
just throw
absolutely.
things out.
If
a
it
little
doesn't work, I'm
different.
just gonna be para sí.
Any topics you want us to cover in
Dun,
the chat, feel free to share
Dun,
it.
dun, dun, dun,
Yeah, I got
dun, dun, dun.
zero control.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun, dun.
I mean, we're still
Dice,
good. To,
dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun,
nice
dun.
job,
All right,
my
there you
man.
go.
All right, well,
I
welcome
don't
to the
think they
Brown.
joined the chat for. I mean, the episode for that. Let's go.
Well,
Yo,
they do like our music drops, Chris. So let's keep this moving because I've been wanting to share this the entire show, but now
Let's
I'm
do it.
able to. And I just got to share with everybody here for those of you that are joining us and for those of you that are going to be
I'm just kidding.
Man, don't kill my vibe. Do not kill my vibe. But everybody, you got to make sure you set your calendars for Saturday, June 11th. What's that date?
Saturday, June 11th.
Sábado.
That's a big
11
day.
de junio.
Yes,
There you
because
go.
the boys of Brown World Radio will be going live from Chase Bank in my hometown of Inglewood, where we're going to be teaming up with Chase Bank to bring financial literacy and resources to our community. And we just had an excellent meeting, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But I'm just excited about this opportunity because it's going to be our first live show. And not only that, but it's going to be the first live show at that Chase Bank.
That's right.
So
in the wood, man. I
In the
feel
wood,
I
man.
almost feel like we should go to like maybe
it's
we could.
apropos. We're going to have to hit
Hey,
up.
yo,
We're going to have
maybe
to hit
we could
up
call
Deal
Mom's
Tacos.
Duke and go to the old house and hit up 109 in Prairie, and
Yep.
we could all get the haircut.
Yep. We're gonna have to go back to. We're gonna hit up Brawley Hut. We're gonna hit up Theo's Tacos.
All right, so,
I'm excited, man. Like this is
Also,
not only
so as
full
a
circle.
non-native LA, right?
here we go.
just don't
from-
bring your
from
Timberland
New
boots.
York.
Just don't bring your Timberland boots, my boy.
The only thing I know about Inglewood is literally the movie The Woods.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Inglewood
The
where
Wood.
they're up to
The
no
Wood.
good.
So I
Yeah.
want to know what is like your favorite or the best memory you have of growing up in the Woods.
I'm not gonna lie. My best memory of growing up in Inglewood, I grew up right on 109 and Crenshaw, right next to Imperial. But it was always going to Brawley Hut.
Okay.
Brawley Hut right there on Crenshaw, and them burgers, man. And then that's the first time that I tasted fries with seasoning.
All
Salud,
right.
man. That's it. But
That's
just
what's up.
you know,
So
that-
shout out to
that's-
Inglewood for
shout out to
sure.
that. Yeah.
I do expect our boy Mega Cat Vic to be
If our
there.
boy
That's
Mega
it-
Cat
that's his
Vic isn't there
backyard
because he's talked a whole lot of shit about me not being
in the wood.
in the wood
So he
when he
better
was
be
in the
there
wood.
when
Yeah,
we're
so
there.
he better be there. But yeah, I'm excited about this. What are you guys' thoughts on this? And what did you guys think about the meeting that we had as far as what we can expect to see and what our viewers can expect to
Well,
see?
the shout out to Chris, the what was the community
Community
manager for
manager,
yeah.
Chase?
for Chase.
Just very inspiring individual to talk to, and I
Absolutely.
was very impressed with his passion for ensuring that this partnership isn't about like checkbook philanthropy. He was telling us
Yeah.
a little bit about like how Chase is investing into communities of color to really address that racial wealth gap. And just to be a part of it is amazing. And one thing I always appreciate is authenticity. And he was so big on saying like, "Yo, we want you guys to do you." We were like, "Yo,
Yeah.
where do we need to behave?"
Yeah.
We don't misbehave too much,
Yeah.
but I did find he did say we can't talk about shrinkage.
Yes,
well,
yes.
I
we wanna-
mean,
we-
we're not gonna be talking about economical shrinkage,
or
gentlemen.
the other
Or your
shrink,
pool
or the
shrinkage.
pool shrinkage either.
But I think what struck with me the most, and before that, shout outs to Keith and Jackie
For making that
Keith from the Good
happen.
News and Jack's, Mysterious Jack's,
Top of the hour.
our queen.
The ladies' night.
Yeah, they put this together, and the fact that they recommended us for this opportunity, and then when he took it to the higher brass, the fact that the higher brass liked our show, they saw that what we were doing, and that we're bringing this
Higher brass.
information.
higher brass.
That's what he said.
You want to elaborate on that?
Though
So,
would have been
yeah,
happier had I said the
higher-
bigger brass.
The higher executives, he means.
Yeah.
The higher
Like,
executives.
it's inspiring, you know what I mean? Like here we
Yeah.
are, we set out on this mission and it continues to come to fruition, right? And that
Yeah.
is, you know, we live that abundance mindset. We continue to put in that work.
Mhm.
And you know, we hope to be able to show that this to the community. Like you can put your mind to something, you can put in the work, and doors will start to open.
Yeah.
And we are so excited to be able to give back. Like the when I tell you that this show is gonna be lit, like the
Lit
information
tea.
that we are bringing
Yeah.
is going to be fuego.
They even said that we could take some Henny to Chase. So
I mean, what really resonated with me was like, I don't want you guys to think about this as just a one-time thing.
yeah,
You know, I want to help put you guys on. I want to help you guys get where you want to go. And literally, like, that's why we started this. We really are trying to, you know, give this information to people that look like us, communities of color. And it's been a little difficult
Yeah.
to really get that, you know,
What's supposed to be
audience.
It's supposed to
Right.
be.
Yeah,
It's supposed
yeah,
to
yeah.
be.
True, because it's organic. But then again, you know, if we were just some of them other social media,
It's not even that. I think it's just even getting the community to want to listen to what we got to say.
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Like, and to have this opportunity, it's truly a blessing, and I'm excited, man. Like,
I just know I'm gonna set it off with a live performance of investment
Ooh,
bars.
there you
and,
go.
all right.
I don't know. It sounded to me like if Rick's don't want to be the hype man,
Spotlight.
I
Look, all I'm
might have
saying is
somebody
that
else to jump in.
if we don't have any musical cues, you guys already know what I'm gonna do.
That's what's up.
I'm gonna bring them.
You do what
Oh,
you do,
okay.
Yeah,
baby.
I'm gonna bring them. But
Okay.
I think the networking, you know, back in the day, this old head rapper named Spotlight, he one time said that your, you know, only way to build a net worth is with your network.
My
And
guy.
seeing a person of color who is as real as can be have that access to those doors to get us into the door, it's really inspiring, and it shows that when there's an abundance mindset and
I think
people work together,
Building
they
a
can-
net worth starts with a
Yeah.
network.
if you're planning to get work, then you start,
Are you
you know,
planning to get work?
yeah, exactly.
Ah.
So
You know,
so where can they get the info, man? Like, if they want to show up, if our
Let's get
if
that
our
address.
viewers and all these people want to come out, how they gonna?
well,
get
as
this
always,
info?
we're not going to give them the address right now because we got to make sure they check our IG, because we're going to be posting about this show on our Instagram at the Brown Scam Investors pretty much very frequently over the next few weeks. So
Well, shout out,
shout out to
Chase $JPM.
Yep.
Absolutely. Make sure that you when you're checking out our stories, you click on that link and RSVP, folks. Make sure you
Yeah.
RSVP so you
Matt-
come out to
Matt
the show.
mentioned
And
What y'all think? FTX? What's FTX? I don't know what FTX is.
I don't know, but if he's calling it the next GOAT, I doubt
doubt
it.
it.
I hope he's not talking about Forex.
Let me see what's FTX.
If it's-
You talking about a cryptocurrency or Forex trading?
Oh, crypto derivatives.
Ooh, we're gonna have to bring you on, Matt. Talk about
yeah,
that.
definitely.
I don't know.
That's
anything about
next
that.
level.
Thank you, Scratch. As always, I could always count on you to put the emoji game to use.
What did Scratch? Johnny Depp called out Elon Musk in the trial. Must be the trial.
Probably.
FTX might buy Hood. Ooh.
Okay, that's
Wow.
some good information. But again,
Wow.
I'm stoked for this. Like our first live show to be from a financial, you know, center.
Institution,
Yeah.
it's great.
So
And
and
it's in your
and in the
hometown.
heart of yeah, you know,
I think that's the part that's got me hyped. Like we
Yeah.
go back to where you came from.
yeah,
right? Like
just full
legit going
circle.
back,
Yeah, literally full circle. Like it's amazing, and you know, I'm as excited as can be.
And
but,
wait till they see the backdrop behind us.
Oh baby,
don't be giving teasers
I ain't
out
gonna
yet,
say
my
what
boy.
it is. I'm not gonna say what it
Yeah.
is, but wait till they see what.
Because typically the prettiest thing about our show is Jesse, but after that they're gonna see the backdrop. Ooh. you know,
I appreciate you, my guy.
and I promise no shrinkage.
No shrinkage.
No
No
shrinkage.
shrinkage.
So you know, speaking of community,
Oh, I thought you were gonna say speaking of shrinkage. Wow.
speaking of community and going back to our roots,
Yeah.
and spreading some of that knowledge, I think Kendrick kind of did that on his last album.
He did. He did.
Right?
he
Came
did.
out double disc. What are your
Yes, sir.
thoughts? Let's talk about it.
Well, if I could just share, since we always have a bar segment, you want to check to see if the bars clip works?
Oh, you know,
Yeah.
Because
you
it
are
might,
right.
because it might work.
Nah, I got nothing.
No, it's not working.
All right,
You want to say?
hold on, Ricks.
I don't know that bar. I'm sorry.
Oh, come on,
Oh,
Ricks.
man.
I know. I know
Dumbo.
somebody knows it. No,
Come
okay, okay.
on, give us something, Ricks.
Something.
Aparecido,
I bought it.
something.
I bought it in Brooklyn. If you don't buy it, Dumbo. Like no, no. But from Kendrick Lamar's new double disc, Mr. Morale, the Big Steppers, he has this line in the song "The Heart" Part 5. And this bar actually struck with me where he says, celebrate new life when it come back around. The purpose and the lesson is we learning now. Sacrifice personal gain over everything just to see the next generation better than ours. You know, that hits home when I'm talking about making the next generation even better than ours. So I thought that those bars and that video were just, you know, just really inspiring. Like they show the true art that Kendrick shows when he's doing his thing.
I think he tried to be very vulnerable on this album. You know, I felt like it was kind of his 444.
That's a good take.
Yeah, because I mean, he really opens up about it. I mean, he really looks, you know, inside. I think personally, I think it's an amazing album. I'm gonna give it like 4 mics. That's my rating on it.
4 out of 5.
And 4 shouldn't be a bad thing. 4 is great, but I mean, with Kendrick, every time he comes out, it's like you know, you want him to drop a classic every time. I personally still like Section 80, probably the best. After that, I'd probably go with Good Cat. I mean, the thing is, for me, I'm always biased to the first album, so that's maybe not fair for me.
Yeah.
Well, true. Every time usually the first album, they come with that new energy, something we haven't heard, that new, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like one time a rapper, I want to say it was Lloyd Banks, shout out to Lloyd Banks, but he said your first album is everything from the beginning of your life to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's all. It's all built up. So everything after that, you're just, you know what I mean.
But the reason I you know hesitate to give it that extra mic, and it might grow on me. Actually, it did grow on me because I think I shared this with you.
Yeah.
And then it grew on me a little bit. But you know, I think for me, the only reason I can't give it more is because like it doesn't have that like background music effect that like you could just put on no matter what you're doing. Like it's an intense album that you got to stop and listen to what you're doing. And I don't know if that should take away from like my rating of it, but it takes away from my enjoyability of it. Like
I honestly feel like this album to an extent was for Kendrick. Like this is
that's a great way to put it.
Himself. You know what I mean?
And
like,
that's fair.
He wanted to let this out.
Yeah.
He wanted to share this with all of us.
Yeah.
You know, really going inside. And when you really go inside to those personal feelings, those demons, talking about having daddy issues, you know, like to be a man and say that in front of everybody, you know, that takes a lot of courage.
The family struggles that he went to.
And I really
all those
enjoyed
stories.
it.
Shout out to Draga Beats in the chat with Kendrick's album is a masterpiece. Way to reinvent himself and how vulnerable it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
now you guys want to agree with Draga Beats.
Well,
when we were talking about
No, I'm just giving him the shout out for being in the chat.
Well,
but-
Hold on. We gonna go ahead.
Well, this just in. Our boy Christopher from Chase just said that we can't do the show no more because we didn't give him 5 mics. So it's all your fault, Rennie.
No, Rennie did it. That was Rennie.
Nah.
No, but hold on, my boy Jesse over here. You wasn't a fan of the double album. Let's talk about that.
No, I think that it continues to prove the point that
rappers should just drop one album at a time.
Like, and don't get me wrong, I love this album. It's amazing. I'm listening to it not constantly, but all of the knocks that you can put on this album, if he had just put out one and picked the best from both.
All right,
but does it take away from how he tried to put it together?
He's not telling the whole story he wanted to tell.
No, and I get that. That's what I'm saying. The way he laid out the album, from like the arrangement, sonically, like the album is amazing.
Sonically, to your point though, it's like 8 or 9 songs for me. It's like 8 or 9. So let me ask you this to change the subject a little bit. What is the best double album? Has there been one that's been that close?
Yeah.
Which one?
Life After Death.
Oh, damn! Life After Death. But I also think it should be
not what I was thinking.
I also think it should be a
give me a song that doesn't rock on that album.
I think if I went through it, I would still combine 6 songs off of each one and put them together.
Yeah.
That I don't think there's a single double album. Like I don't think anybody has been able to drop a great double album that like because with Life After Death,
he's just New York biased. So he
not even. Don't get me wrong.
I gotta look at the track.
All Eyes on Me is.
I mean, All Eyes on Me.
I
think somebody's got to put my boy Matt to bed. Donda better than Mr. Morale.
Oh my God! Listen, how do you block people?
Can we get him some melatonin?
I agree.
Hey, how do you block people on YouTube?
Go ahead. Y'all can't block me. I'm on the show, but I agree.
We've seen examples of how much work Kendrick puts into every song he does.
Yes,
we saw that breakdown on that IG post we were talking about.
Yes,
like we got guys going in the studio, grabbing the bottle, smoking on some good, and whatever comes to their mind, shooting it out.
Absolutely,
yeah.
And because it has a nice beat and it's flowy, you know,
this is grown man music.
Yeah, and
like
to the point, kind of, if we want to bring it full circle to what our show is trying to do, we're trying to bring more knowledge and understanding and knowing of self to our communities. I think what Kendrick did on this album is that he brought out the fact that being vulnerable, being, insightful, knowing yourself, knowing your story and how that dictates how you see the world, it's just as powerful as, what it's very powerful. It's very powerful. Yeah, I didn't even have
I think if he would have done, again, just my personal bias, right? This one drops now.
Yeah.
Dress 2 drops 6 months later. Kind of like,
he gets.
I think it because it shows. I think it's 2 very different messages he's getting out. I think
album
like
of the year, Pusha T.
So, no argument there. No argument there.
Pusha T.
It's almost dry. It is legit.
Pusha T. I'm still bumping it, and I love Kendrick, and I know there's more content, more substance behind it, but I can bump Pusha's album from start to end over and over and over, and that's my issue with. It's not an issue with Kendrick's album. I still am very inspired by it. I love what he did. It just doesn't have that replayability factor.
Oh no, I think it's still replayable.
But it's like if you were expecting the action movie and you're watching the drama.
Right.
Yeah, that's all it is. Like that's all it is. It's not the action movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I admit that my bias going into it was like I wanted.
The people had the same reaction to the Bad Bunny album.
Yeah,
they're trying to act like it wasn't fire when it first came out, and I'm like,
it was.
Yeah, who are you talking to?
Yes, it's not. It doesn't have those like club bangers every single time.
You know what threw me off?
He reinvented himself to an extent.
The features, right? Like his feature on Family Ties.
Oh, because you're in a Kodak, man. Here we go.
No. His feature on Family Ties with the one with his cousin, with Baby Keem, right? That feature, I thought that's what he was coming with the whole album.
But to your point, and I'm a Kodak hater, but I think this is the best Kodak I've ever heard.
It is. But
Kendrick got Kodak to sound good.
Yeah, people questioning. Yeah, like it.
I like how, look, I love what Draga always just has such he always knows how to lighten it. He said Kendrick's album is a certain mood mainly because it's a therapy session. Sometimes one could not be in the mood, and that's all I'm trying.
100%.
I don't know if that's fair to take a mic away from it.
Exactly, it's not fair to take a mic away.
But I'm gonna take at least half away.
4.5. All right,
4.5. I think that's fair.
Chris, we still can perform the show 4.5 now.
I think that's fair. Oh, look, we got the bars back though, so we're gonna go ahead and close it out. For those of you that are on the app, thank you guys so much for joining us. For those of you still on YouTube, we're still here. Blueprint 2 is a double album, but we're not talking about it because it's not in the conversation for greatest. So sorry.
No, not at all. That's
even
Hov couldn't drop
all sorts of filler. Yeah,
2.1 was better. Chill out with all sorts of filler. Come on now. It was still dope. I don't know about that. I don't know about all sorts of filler. Come on now.
You went at Hov?
Come on.
Blasphemy.
Should I leave?
Exactly.
You're about to get stabbed, bro. Relax. Scoot away.
Come on, man. Blueprint 2 wasn't. It didn't have. It wasn't a classic, but it has a lot of bangers. I would just say there were some songs that could have not made it.
It has.
There's a lot of double out. Like even to your point about Life After Death, I had to look up the track listing.
I'm
Life After Death is dope. There's a couple that would pull.
But there's a couple that I don't know about a double album.
Tell me one that
I'll tell you as I was looking at them. So I would have pulled. Here's a couple I would have pulled.
Honestly, if you're tuned in, welcome to Brown Wealth Radio. Talks about rap.
I would have pulled. Definitely would have pulled My Downfall.
Mm-hmm.
DMC is. I love DMC, but nah. I would have also pulled off. Oh yeah, Nasty Boy. Yeah, come on.
Nasty Boy.
Nasty Boy. You nasty. How you don't like that?
Miss You.
Yeah, Miss You was not that great either.
Come on.
My God.
When you ask, okay, you play some Biggie. They ain't playing them.
Yeah.
They are not playing them.
Right, but there's a
if Life After Death would have been Hypnotized, Kick in the Door, Last Day, I Love the Dough, What's Beef, More Money, More Problems, Ninjas Bleed, Got a Story to Tell, Notorious Thugs. You could have skipped Another with Lil Kim. That one's no good either. Going Back to Cali, 10 Crack Commandments, Play a Hater, Sky's the Limit.
Yeah, Sky's the Limit.
The World is Filled, Long Kiss Goodnight, You're Nobody. Then that would have been a really dope 15-16 track. A classic 15.
Yeah, that's
still a classic.
That still has a lot of bang. Yeah, that has a lot of.
That has a lot of bangers. There's a few that could have gone.
But shout out to everybody that's still with us on the YouTube. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. And again, if you're not as excited as I am about our show, make sure you leave a comment and say how excited you are.
Let's get it.
June 11th. Let's keep it going. So from all of us to all of you, thank you guys so much. Thank you for joining us. We will be here same time next week, same time, bad channel, everybody. Peace.
Peace.
I'm the most requested. I take the crown and you know I did. Rep the
310 with the proud blood of a high school kid. Humble on the street, but the mic got eagles growing big.